crafting dreams with bits and bytes. Microsoft magic, it's out of sight.
Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. How you doing, Stacy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. You can see my video's working today, so that's a plus.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah, I always have technical challenges, but so it makes us stronger when we work through that stuff. So
Right. Always something new to learn.
that's right. We're happy to see you wherever you are or coming from to another Cat for Copilot Adoption Practices live webcast. And so given that we're live, if you're joining live on LinkedIn, feel free to use the chat to talk to us. And in fact, even right now, just tell us where you're joining from or just say hi. And if you're watching on demand, you could leave YouTube comments as well. But wherever you're joining from, we're glad you're here. And as always, we come here to geek out on all things Copilot. We'll pivot if any questions come up, but we always got something to talk about for ourselves. If you were on last week, you will notice we talked about some of the built-in Copilot agents that are out there. And if you're going to be one of those that's keeping up with all things Copilot and AI, then the word agents is going to be a buzzword, a keyword for you. We're not talking about Agent Smith from the Matrix. And there was a lot of those agents, but this would be Copilot agents. So that was a little nod to all the fellow geeks out there. So a lot of cool stuff happening there. I mean, so we're talking about these built-in agents. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? But given that there are a few out there that are kind of useful, that's what we thought we'd do is kind of take a look at another one. We looked at Prompt Coach last week, which was pretty cool. So if you didn't see that, go to aka.ms/cat for Copilot, check that one out. You can see how that gets used. If you are struggling with, how to make good prompts, I mean, you've certainly got Copilot Labs. I can't remember the URL for that. There's tons of things out there, as well as the 4 ingredients we talked about last week for doing good prompts. But it's cool to have an agent out there to help you too. And we ran through a couple of examples, and I thought it did a pretty good job of helping us expand those. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, and I think I'm pretty good with prompts, and I still thought it, gave me something to think about. So yeah, let me get my environment going here, or my share. And see. And I'll share that guy. Yep. And we'll leave that over there. Cool. And we'll do that. So when we did this last time, we jumped over into Copilot in Teams.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I could use it anywhere, but this is, to me, a nice spot to do it. And you can see we now have the prompt coach from last week that we put in there. So it's now pinned there so that if I ever want to use it again, it's one click away.
Yeah, you'll want to use it again. I've already used it a few times this week.
Right. Yeah. So it's right there for us with some example prompts there to get us started. But, we want to take a look at some others as well. So we did this last week, clicked on the Get Agents. Copilot Agents is basically where it lands us. And then as long as I don't scroll too fast, we should find, let me make this bigger, some of the other ones that are out there. There we go. They're right there. So you see we did prompt coach before. We got a few others here: career coach, learning coach, and idea coach. And I thought we'd give idea coach a try. Interestingly, I was just looking at the ratings. Ratings are always cool when you're doing this stuff. And it's actually one rating, but 5 stars. So that's interesting. So let's go ahead and add that. Again, these are built in, with the Copilot license. You can use them as you need to. Nothing to pay for here. Add it successfully. So I'll go ahead and open it up. So now, as you see, I've got, 2 of them over here now. Always be pinned for me, nice and easy. And so same concept, right? Just a different purpose. So this one is an additional agent that now has its own suggestions, like, hey, coach, help me brainstorm about a specific topic. One thing I want to say here, just to start out, the reason I like even the idea, I guess no pun intended, of the idea coach is that, to me, is one of the biggest advantages or powers of Copilot and AI in general. I always say this end to writer's block, the end to staring at a blank screen to get started. Just letting Copilot give you a start, give you an idea, even if the first idea isn't perfect, just to get and maybe that's just how my brains work. I just need a little something to just prime the pump and get me going, and then I'm off to the races from there. So I like the idea of something that's going to help me with ideas and with brainstorming. So I'm gonna try this one here, this brainstorm a topic. And I'll leave it as is, because I'm suspecting, I don't know if I don't think I've used this yet, but I'm suspecting it's going to ask me, as we know, our interactions with Copilot are a conversation. So it's probably going to ask me what the topic is if I don't specify it here. Let's see. So let me make this a little bigger for us. Yep. So I'd love to help you brainstorm. What specific topic do you have in mind? So I certainly could have put my topic in the initial ask, but we can let Copilot talk to us. You got an idea, Stacy, about what to add? I'm thinking maybe like future Copilot, Cat for Copilot topics.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So
set it up with that.
Yeah. So again, we like to use natural language with Copilot. So I'm going to just say, I run a weekly live webcast for Copilot adoption practices. I need ideas for new topics. Let's see what it says. Sounds like a fantastic initiative. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Copilot. Let's brainstorm some fresh and engaging topics. So let's see. Success stories. Invite guests who have successfully applied, adopted Copilot in their organizations. That actually is, I don't know, Stacey, if we've talked about this yet, but that's on our agenda for this webcast. I actually have been talking with some folks. We already had, if you didn't see it, we had Savita Mitchell on a few weeks back. She's a Copilot and Azure AI expert. So we have had one special guest already, but yes, I agree with you, Copilot, on your number one thing there about bringing other people on, inviting guests. That was definitely in my wheelhouse. So see, we're already vibing. Feature deep dives, focus on a specific feature of Copilot each week. I think that's what we are doing right now. Q&A sessions. Definitely want to have more of that, for you guys out there that are watching, to interact. And I see you out there, Todd, from Virginia. Thanks for joining us. But definitely use the comments to interact with us. So I like in 1 through 3 so far. Integration tips. That is actually another good idea. Talking about the integration points with other apps. And it goes on. I mean, it's going pretty good so far. Future trends. I suspect we'll have a lot of future trends conversations here in the next couple of weeks.
I suspect so too.
Yeah, post Ignite.
Right.
Yeah. So this may become a hot webcast later in the month as people hear all the cool things from Ignite and want to talk about or hear more about that. So
yeah, tell your friends.
Yeah, right. Now, the one thing I was going to do here, and this isn't necessarily an ideas coach thing, but it's just a Copilot thing, is to dive into something that it has responded to me about. So, for instance, the feature deep dives. Again, I'm in a conversation. It knows the context. So I always like to do things like tell me more ideas about number 2. And I like to put number 2 because, it just kind of lets you know that Copilot, knows what it wrote. So I don't have to say these things. I can just say number 2. It knows what it put in number 2. And so then it's giving me some more ideas to even drill down even further into that particular suggestion. So hopefully, the lesson there is we don't just have to, it's not just the first response that Copilot gives us is the only good response. We take that and just run with it. We can refine it. We can dig deeper, ask it more, tell us to give us more, be more elaborate, whatever we need. So just that simple question there on number 2 to tell me more gave me 10 more suggestions on this idea of feature deep dives. So I could do that on every one of those, a few suggestions. So, I could really go really deep on the ideas that it's given me here on this particular question. So yeah, that's working out pretty good. I don't know if we've shown this, but you can see here all the Copilot goodness still applies, even though we're using this agent as opposed to maybe Copilot in general. We do still have the editing pages. Again, I can't remember if we've shown this before, but if you haven't seen it before, that's where you get to take your results of your Copilot interaction. And then you saw me click that button, and now it has popped those into a loop page where I could do all the things that one might do with their loop content. I could, add additional things to this, but more importantly, I can share this out with others where they can jump in and real time collaborate on this. In fact, I was going on the fly, share it with you, Stacy, but then I might get mixed up on what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
From your demo environment, you may not have a lot of people to share with, but I really do think that I'm glad you went there with the sharing in pages, because it would be an ideal place for us to use Ideas Copilot in the Microsoft tenant to have this exact conversation, and then you to click edit in pages, and us both with our Microsoft accounts join in this and complete the brainstorming process with all of this goodness that Copilot has given us to stage out our future conversations with this population. I think it's really exciting. And the fact that Copilot is already tailored to do this in one central place is really cool. And pointing out the goodness of all those Copilot features being part of this agent. So it's not like it had to be rebuilt to include that edited pages option. It came along with it, and with all the tailoring that was added on top. So really exciting, and definitely let's do that in our tenant.
Right. I did
those projects that you're doing with other members within your own Microsoft tenant with M365, and how your loop pages and edit in pages via Copilot is going to enhance those project endeavors for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to do the edit in pages demo, and so Yeah, I tried to share it with Bob, my other persona. I don't know if he probably hasn't gotten the email yet with my share, but if that does happen, I can just show how he can come in and he can add his own things in here as well. And this just becomes this living, real-time living document. So, yeah. Yeah, I've started to use this more. In fact, let me get out of here. Even as a place to just, you can get your response and just do a copy of the text and paste it somewhere. But I have started doing the editing pages, and now I got a loop, and then I copy and paste the link to that loop in my notes, knowing that that's a spot where I might add more things. Instead of continuing to copy paste, I can just keep working in this space, knowing that the places where I put my link, are always up to date. So that was a use case that I didn't think about initially, but has really started to work out for me lately. Let's see, let's go back here. Come here, up there. And let's do that. All right, cool. I guess I made it really big. So let's look at a couple other ones in here. So brainstorming sessions, fun exercises for brainstorming sessions, organize ideas, feedback and improvement. Let me take a look at this. So can you help me find tools to organize ideas? I wonder if that's just going to search the web. Yeah, well, not necessarily. Okay, so I kind of like this, especially if you haven't really looked into organizational tools before. This, to me, this answer, I like it. It does two things. One, it talks about conceptually some good tools for organizing your work, and then also specific examples. So mind mapping as a concept is a cool idea for brainstorming. And in fact, what I might do is dive into what is mind mapping as I talk to Copilot here, but it gives some examples of some tools that can help you do mind mapping. I actually used to use Meister myself. But yeah, creating diagrams to help you with the ideas. What I wouldn't mind here is if these had some references, so I could just click right to it. But of course, that's easily done, if I just say, what is MindMeister? I suspect it'll, yep, so it's going to tell me all about it. Still no reference there, though. That would be nice to just give me a link right over to it.
Well, we're already listing some competitors there. So
yeah.
Giving a little work to the user is not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. And so I can ask, what is mind mapping?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Tells me all about that too. Yeah. So again, if you're looking for ideas on how to, brainstorming things, I mean, this is like having a little research assistant there for you. So I like it. It's good stuff. All right. I'm going to do one more because this one says, help me improve my skills for brainstorming. So this one, before it starts, blabbing out a bunch of answers, it's actually asking me, it needs some more context from me. So I'd love to help. Let's start by understanding your current level in specific areas. First, tell me, are there any particular skills you want to focus on? And once I have a better understanding, we can create a tailored plan. Any particular skill, maybe, what about visualizing my ideas? All right. And then we get back into the mind maps and the flow charts, that's the answer I was.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't Kanban boards. Yeah. So yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, to be honest, this is info that I know I have spent time just doing web searches on to get this, this info right here all in one is pretty useful. To your point, even if I've got the additional step, maybe of doing some without the references, I got to do a little more web searches, but this is a good launching place for those searches. So I like this.
Most definitely. I don't want to think about all the time that has passed now that I have Copilot and can accomplish things in quite a bit faster fashion. I think about, man, if I had this at the very beginning of my career, how interesting, how much more interesting that career could have been, and how much more could I have accomplished, which I think is interesting when we talk about business value to Copilot. I mean, it is really amazing when you start breaking down all the ways that Copilot across M365 can enhance whatever you're trying to produce, whatever you're trying to accomplish. There's a Copilot for that, which I say in jest, but I really believe that it's there, and the business value simply can't be overstated.
Yeah. And it's one thing to kind of list out the ways it helps and saves time. It's another thing to experience it firsthand. And I mean, that's what I've been experiencing lately. I mean, there are tasks that I just know that, this time last year when I did this thing, it took way longer. I'm absolutely sure it took way longer than it did this time when I was using Copilot. And so just kind of get to see that in real time or in real life is really cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Particularly in those situations like you were talking about before, where you have a task to complete, but you're not 100% sure how you want to go about it, or what creative aspects you could add to it to make it even stronger of an outcome. Yeah. Man, having Copilot to go and just reason back and forth with while you ideate on how to even start, that's exciting.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Well, cool. Again, like we showed, let me go back here.
I can give a little example from our prompt coach session from last week, and how I brought that into my work week this week and really leaned into it. I was trying to write a prompt because of the nature of our work, and I'm sure this is common today. There are so many different channels, chats, emails, conversations, where information is just so fast coming at us, and it's hard to prioritize. It's hard to focus in on the things that are most important. And so I wanted to write a prompt that would help Copilot to identify those top things in the last couple of weeks that were communicated in whatever fashion to me that were important to my role. And the goal is that everyone in my role could then take that and schedule it and run it every couple of weeks with Copilot, and make sure that they didn't miss any of those key messages from our managers or our business leaders or what have you, right? Our field advisories, things like that. And so I had one, probably, I would say, accomplishing about 75% of what I wanted, but it still was missing a couple of key pieces in the report that it gave me. And so I took it to Prompt Coach and I said, I got this, analyze it, tell me what I might be missing, help me to tweak it, and this is what I'm going for. And it did it. It took it across the finish line. I had even reached out to a human peer for the same. And between both of our tweakings and getting the prompt coach's help, we now have a prompt that each of the people in my role can take and schedule to run regularly, and not have the overwhelm of the communication, where it's just really going to comb through it all and bring us to the top what we need to know as we wrap each week.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I'll share it with you.
Yeah, that would be good.
You can tweak it for your role too.
Right. Yeah, and I think part of what that prompt coach does, and just when we kind of let Copilot help us tweak our prompts in general, it's all about, a lot of times it's about, here's my end result. Tell me what I need to do to get to that result. And so sometimes that's easier than others. But like, for instance, I've used it on images. Here's an image. What prompt Copilot would you do to create that image, right? So if I like the general sense of that image, or the color scheme or whatever, then it gives me the prompt, and now I know what I can just tweak it for the next image that I need. Or same thing with some output of text in a certain format. Here's what I'm trying to get. What prompt would you use, Copilot, to generate this? And then
that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then you just tweak it from
there. Help you, I guess, put that language
engineering
into your toolbox for the next time.
Yeah, let Copilot do all the work instead of us. Good stuff. Well, that's good stuff. Yeah. So again, as you saw, there's a couple more agents out there, but I think for the most part, everybody gets the gist of kind of how they can help. So if you haven't already, try them out on your own, see if they help. You've got real life examples of how at least, prompt coaches really helped out. So give it a shot. We'll be back again, actually, I think next week, and then of course off for the US holiday. But if you're out there and have other ideas of things you want us to talk about, we're all ears, and just put that in chats or send it to us however you like, and we'll try to incorporate that in. But we're glad you joined us today, and we'll see you next time, or see you on YouTube, and we'll keep talking Copilot.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you everybody.
Bye-bye.